What is up, guys? Welcome back to another day of Whitley Auto Works. Now, here on this channel, we're known for trying experiments, for doing crazy stuff, for going outside of the box, for answering those what-if questions that nobody else on YouTube would dare take on just because they don't want to look absolutely stupid. Well, guess what? I don't really care. I don't think it's stupid, and I'm curious too, so that's what we're doing today, guys. The baby powder paint jobs. I have done a couple of videos on the Johnson & Johnson stuff in the past, and they've actually done really well. A lot of you guys are curious to see what it would do if you had baby powder into clear or paint or whatever else. Well, today we're going to answer that final question. What would happen if you added baby powder into candy paint jobs? Like, you know, a little candy mid-coat. Would it make it like an anodized type finish? Would it completely dull it out? What would it do? Well, let me show you what I'm using today, guys, and then we'll get into the experiment. Alright, guys, so I got a fender prepped up right here, and it's going to get the treatment. Well, what is the treatment? Johnson & Johnson baby powder, no talc, no cancer chemicals, guys. So don't come for me. This is just plain starch powder now, cornstarch. And as far as a lot of people think I'm claiming I'm the world's first doing some of this stuff, no. Hot rodders were adding talcum powder or cornstarch powder or whatever you want to talk about into paint in the 50s doing hot rod paint jobs. That's where the first hot rod paint jobs come from, with the satin and matte. It's just a flattening agent pretty much, and it just makes the paint look flat, which is why I'm really curious to see what it's going to do when I add it in my poor man's Limelight Candy Clear. But to start with, I'm going to be adding a Rust-Oleum base coat over top, and then we're going to add some glitter to give it a pop because it's candy. It needs a pop. And then candy concentrate mixed with baby powder and some Finish One clear. So let's get to laying the Rust-Oleum stuff first, and then we'll jump into seeing what baby powder does in candy concentrate. Alright, guys, so Rust-Oleum matte hammered paint. This is kind of a khaki color, but I think it'll dry fairly flat. It does have a very interesting cap. I really don't think that's going to be the color we get, though, because, well, I was going to look at the back of it, but this is copper. I have looked it up. Next step is going to be Rust-Oleum glitter, guys. Gold, intense sparkling. I've used this on a past episode to do a candy red spray out, and it gives it a really cool deep red effect. So I'm interested to see what that's going to do with the candy over top of it. So let's give this a few minutes to tack up good, and then we'll add some glitter. Alright, guys, I gave it the glitter. Man, this color could look good by itself. Just clear coat it and done. Man, very cool, like a champagne glittery color. But man, I really did give it the glitter, guys. So I think it's going to pop greatly when we move on to some of this candy over here. So now we've done the hammered, we've done the glitter, and now it's time to mix up some Johnson & Johnson Candy Red. Alright, guys, so for this experiment today, I'll be using the Finish One FC 720 clear. I've got a little over 5 ounces in it. This is a 4-to-1 clear. I'll be using a slow hardener because the temperatures are up a little bit, and, you know, slow hardener just allows it to flow out better. So since I did a little over 5 ounces into the mix, we'll do about 1.5 ounces of harder, bring it up close to 7, and that'll get me in the ballpark. Like I said, this is just a test fender, so it ain't got to be 100% exact. We're just having some fun here today and seeing if this is even possible and what kind of crazy effects it would give us. So let me open this Candy Red Limelight real quick, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, guys, so that's Candy Red in all its glory. A very, very cool color, and it gets all over your finger. So as usual with this right here, I'm going to add a couple of drops off the popsicle stick of candy into it because it don't take much since we're just doing a fender. So I'll add that into the mix first, and then after that we'll add in the baby powder and we'll see what that looks like. So let me tilt you guys in just a little bit so you can see it just a little bit better. But like I said, it's just, candy is just a liquid, guys. It just basically tints the clear. So you put a good bit of that in there and we'll have a really good effect. So let me do another popsicle stick drip drop of it, and I think we'll be good to go. And when you mix it up, you'll see Hawaiian Punch, guys. That's pretty much what it looks like. And it just ends up being, like I said, like a liquid tint almost for your project. So anything up under it, it amplifies the base color. So it'll turn that gold like a red, but you'll just have to see it. It's really, really cool, guys, when you do these candy concentrates. But you always want to do them over a metallic base because, like I said, it is translucent, so it'll show through the color below it. So, all right, got this mixed up really good. I think we got plenty enough candy in it. So let me set this off to the side, and let's add some baby powder. All right, so now that I got that out of the way, baby powder. Now, I don't think this is going to take a whole lot. But, you know, I want to make sure we get a good enough blend in there. So let's put a good squirt, guys. And I think that's going to be enough. Like I said, I don't think this is going to take a lot. Because it pretty much just acts like a flattening agent, guys. So rather than be all glossy and shimmery when it's done, it's going to flatten off. And, of course, I'll make sure this is all mixed up real good because I know I got it all on the sides and it's going to be powdery. And we'll strain it before we put it into the paint gun just in case because, you know, I don't want a bunch of chunks all on my panel. So, all right, I'm going to mix this up really good and then we'll load up the paint gun and get the spraying. Alright guys, so I got my glitter fender ready and I got my paint gun here loaded up with some of this Johnson & Johnson mixed up baby powder in candy clear, guys. So like I said, this is transparent, so you want to put this stuff on pretty consistent. That way you don't have a lot of, you know, variation in your finish and everything else. So I'll try to do the best I can with it. This is an HVLP gun today, guys. It's a 1.4 tip. I shoot 28 PSI wide open trigger. How many coats I'm going to get out of this, I don't know. 2 or 3 coats is tended to be the sweet spot, but it might take more. Candy red's funny like that sometimes, but I'm going to just keep going till I run out of material. Then we'll take it out in the sun once it dries and cures really good. That way you can see the full effect of what baby powder does in a candy paint job. So I'm going to put the mask on. Let's get the spraying. Alright guys, so it's no surprise this thing turned out a very cool candy red with some glitter. Almost looks like Dorothy's little slipper from Wizard of Oz. Very cool color. Obviously it has texture in it because that's the glitter flake. You would have to sand all that out and seal it with clear and then do the candy if you're going to do this full scale the proper way. But that's not what today's about. Today's all about testing whether this talcum powder, or I guess I should say cornstarch because everybody's going to come for me if I don't, is actually going to change anything once this actually dries and cures. So let's give this some time to cure out and we'll see the final results. Alright guys, so now it's the next morning. I'm just getting into the shop and we're going to check on this fender with the baby powder and everything in it and see the final results, and I'll give you my thoughts and everything else. So let's check it out. Well, it did flatten off some. either I didn't add enough baby powder in it, or when I was straining it out and everything, we probably lost a little bit. But it definitely has more of a semi-gloss look than before. Is it completely flat? No. Let me grab the little light real quick so you can see it still is very glittery. And of course, obviously it has a little bit of texture. You'd have to knock that down, but still a very cool experiment nonetheless. What do you guys think about it? All right, real quick, I'm gonna show you guys how to fix and salvage a candy paint job. I got 600 right here. I got some Dawn dish soap and some soapy water, and all I've been doing, guys, is just barely gliding over the top of this panel. Get all those little nicks and, you know, the little spikes that were sticking up. And, you know, you're still gonna have a little bit of like little pitting and stuff like that from the whole ordeal, but basically you just want to get everything flattened down a little bit. You don't want to eat too much into the candy, and if you want to check everything, putting water on it's going to show you what your final finish is going to be. That way you can make sure you didn't cut too far into it. So like if I put a little bit of water right here, see how I still got a wet consistent finish or slick consistent finish? That's what you want to see. You just want to make sure. All right, and then you clean your panel really good, and you can re-clear it with whatever you want to clear it with, or you can add more candy. You can really do anything you want. But all right, just a quick little tip, and that's it. Alright guys, so we've been through quite the journey with this one. Baby powder bonanza is what I'm going to call this episode when it's all said and done. What I did was I went back and 600'd it, wet sanded it, got all that grit off like I was telling you about. That was not the way to do it. That was the harder of the two ways, but this is the end result with it cleared. No baby powder. What do you guys think? Wow, guys, today has been an absolute roller coaster of an episode. We started out trying to figure out what happens when you mix baby powder into a candy paint job. Will it flatten it off? Will it give it an anodized look or whatever else? We did it. We let it sit for about 12 to 13 hours. I come back and it did flatten off some, but I think a little bit of the baby powder maybe got strained out with the strainer, or maybe I just needed to add more powder in general because it just acts as a flattening agent. And that's kind of what I've been showing you guys through all this baby powder series and stuff. I know it's kind of been a joke a little bit, but at the same time, hot rodders were doing this in the 50s before technology got to where new school matte and satin clear coats were invented. So people have been doing this for a long, long time to get that effect because you just didn't have the products available to you back then. You know, you didn't even have internet So, just keep that in mind when everybody knocks on these paint tricks. If it weren't for the old schoolers to do these tricks, then we wouldn't have paved the way into some of the other stuff we are today. So, I always got to pay respect to the old school. But nonetheless, guys, rate this spray out for today, 1 through 5, 1 through 10. This is more of a traditional candy paint job. I did salvage it. As far as everything goes with the candy paint jobs, after the metal flake stage, typically you want to seal that with clear. You want to level it back off. That way you don't have that texture in it. And then add your candy coats and clear. I chose to go full scale with it because I was using the baby powder. And then I just wasn't happy with the final result showing you guys. And I figured, you know what? Why not? Take some 600, wet sand it very carefully to get all those little nibs off of it and get it flat as possible. And then go back, hit it with 2 or 3 more candy coats, seal everything, and give everybody legit results. And that's what I think happened today. But ultimately, like I said, it's up to you guys. If you enjoyed the spray out today, if you enjoyed this whole video and you haven't already, please take a second, hit that subscribe button, ring that little bell beside it to notify you every time a new episode drops. I'm all the time doing what if episodes, crazy experiments, tutorials, full paint jobs. I got my shop truck coming back really soon. You're not going to want to miss that. That's going to be a cool paint job. And just, you never know what you're going to see next on Whitley Auto Works. Leave me a quick like and comment. Let me know what you thought of today's video. What spray out have I not done on the channel? Go back and look. I've done over 160 plus spray outs since I started the series almost 2 years ago. So go back, check that out. Tons of ideas for future projects. It's not just automotive, it's people are painting guitars and everything else, using these methods. And it's just cheap paint jobs on a budget that look like more expensive paint jobs. And they hold up for many years, especially when you add something like the Finish One Clear Coat. If you want to buy the paint gun, the mask, any of that type stuff, it's always in my Amazon store, guys. As seen on YouTube, you click that, it takes you to my store where you can purchase everything there for the same price I get it. Cost you nothing extra, like I said. You get the benefits of Prime and everything else Amazon has to offer. But I appreciate you guys tremendously for watching today. Like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm John from Whitley Auto Works. Hope you guys have a great day. God bless, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.